Picture this: two nations once united, now at the brink of a devastating conflict. This isn't a tale from a history book, but the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict. A conflict that has its roots deeply entrenched in the shared history of the two nations, going back to the time of the Soviet Union, a time when they were part of one mighty federation. Let's take a stroll down the memory lane to the days of the Soviet Union. Russia and Ukraine were siblings under the roof of this mighty federation. They were intertwined, interdependent, and intrinsically linked in more ways than one. Their histories, their economies, their people were all connected. But as the Soviet Union crumbled, Ukraine sought to carve out its own path, distinct from its big brother, Russia. Fast forward to the 21st century, Ukraine began aligning itself more with the Western world. It gravitated towards the European Union and NATO, its gaze firmly fixed on the West. This shift didn't sit well with Russia, who saw it as a slight, a betrayal even. The tensions simmered slowly but surely until it reached a boiling point. In 2014, the conflict took a dramatic turn. Russia annexed Crimea, a region that had been part of Ukraine since 1954. The world watched, stunned, as this move was a blatant violation of Ukraine's sovereignty. The ripple effects of this act were felt far and wide, with nations across the globe condemning Russia's actions. So the stage was set, and the world watched as tensions between Russia and Ukraine escalated into a full-blown conflict. The year 2014 marked a significant turning point in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. The winds of change began to blow in Crimea, a region of Ukraine with deep historical and cultural ties to Russia. As Ukraine was grappling with internal political upheaval, Russia saw an opportunity to intervene. In a strategically calculated move, Russia seized control of Crimea, a move that sent shockwaves across the globe. This wasn't a simple land grab, it was a geopolitical power play that would have far-reaching implications. The annexation of Crimea was swiftly followed by a controversial referendum, where an overwhelming majority of Crimea's population reportedly voted to join Russia. Yet many questioned the legitimacy and fairness of this vote. While the dust was still settling in Crimea, the unrest spread to eastern Ukraine. In the regions of Donetsk and Luhansk, referendums were held, mirroring the events in Crimea. The people of Donetsk and Luhansk declared independence from Ukraine, and thus the war in Donbass was ignited. This war, a tug-of-war between pro-Russian separatists and the Ukrainian government, has been a bloody and brutal conflict with no end in sight. The international community watched these events unfold with a mix of shock, disbelief, and concern. Countries around the globe condemned Russia's actions, deeming them a blatant violation of Ukraine's sovereignty and international law. In response, a series of economic sanctions was imposed on Russia by the European Union, the United States, and other countries, aiming to pressure Russia to reverse its course. However, despite the sanctions and the widespread condemnation, Russia held firm, maintaining its grip on Crimea and continuing to support the separatists in eastern Ukraine. The annexation of Crimea and the war in Donbass intensified the conflict, making the possibility of a peaceful resolution seem more distant. Fast forward to the present, the conflict has reached a dangerous stalemate. The battlefield has become a grueling test of endurance, a tug-of-war where both sides are clinging on, but neither is able to pull the other over the line. Russian ground forces, once a formidable juggernaut, are approaching exhaustion with few reinforcements available. Ukrainian air defenses, on the other hand, are depleted, making them vulnerable to Russian air superiority. Leaked US documents provide a glimpse into the grim reality of this conflict. Ukrainian forces are preparing for an offensive, while Russia is focused on holding its current territory. The Russian army battalions are committed, but a significant number are described as combat ineffective, a testament to the toll this conflict has taken. But this war isn't confined to the borders of Ukraine and Russia. The involvement of other nations is clear. Their hands, though hidden, are moving the chess pieces on this global board. The United States, with its intelligence and military aid, is a key player. China, too, is suspected of secretly supplying lethal equipment to Russia, adding another layer of complexity to this geopolitical quagmire. European nations are also deeply entwined in the conflict. France and Germany, for instance, have been involved in peace talks, trying to navigate a path to resolution. Yet peace remains elusive, almost a mirage in the heat of battle. The impact of this conflict extends far beyond the military and political arena. It's a ripple effect that's felt across the globe, destabilizing international relations and security. From the suspension of Russia's participation in the New START nuclear arms reduction treaty to the United Kingdom's call for global security, the tremors of this conflict are shaking the very foundations of our world order. The stakes are high, the cost is immense, and the resolution seems distant. As the war rages on, it's not just Ukraine and Russia that are affected. The repercussions of this conflict are felt globally, destabilizing international relations and security. Looking ahead, the future of the Russia-Ukraine conflict is clouded with uncertainty. It's a chess game on a global stage, with moves and countermoves shaping the course of history. Let's consider some potential outcomes. One scenario is sustained conflict, a continuation of the current state of affairs. The war of attrition grinds on, with both sides holding their ground, locked in a stalemate. Russian forces, while significant in number, are approaching exhaustion, and Ukrainian air defenses are depleted. With each passing day, the human cost of this conflict escalates, and the hope for a swift resolution dwindles. Yet, amidst the darkness of war, glimmers of hope for peace negotiations emerge. High-ranking officials from France, Germany, Ukraine, and Russia have agreed to meet, aiming to progress with peace talks. The Minsk agreements, designed to resolve the conflict, are back on the discussion table. But the road to peace is fraught with obstacles, and the question remains: can these nations find a resolution that satisfies all parties involved? Another scenario paints a picture of further international involvement. Former British Prime Minister Boris Johnson has called for more military aid to Ukraine, including tanks, planes, and long-range artillery. Meanwhile, China's top diplomat has met with Russia's Security Council head, expressing concerns about the conflict spiraling out of control. As nations across the globe watch this unfolding drama, their decisions could tip the scales in this delicate balance of power. In this complex web of geopolitics, international diplomacy plays a pivotal role. It serves as the beacon guiding nations towards a peaceful resolution. The importance of diplomatic negotiations cannot be overstated. They are the lifeline in this sea of uncertainty, the thread that could weave a tapestry of peace from the torn fabric of war. While the future remains uncertain, one thing is clear: the resolution of the Russia-Ukraine conflict is crucial to global peace and stability. The world watches, waits, and hopes for an end to the conflict. And as this story continues to unfold, we realize that we are not just observers, but collectively we are part of this global narrative. So, what have we uncovered today? We embarked on a journey through time, tracing the roots of a conflict that has left an indelible mark on the world's political landscape, the Russia-Ukraine conflict. We began with the origins, a complex interplay of historical, political, and cultural factors that led to the eruption of tensions between Russia and Ukraine. From the dissolution of the Soviet Union to the shifting allegiances and the tug-of-war between East and West, we delved into the intricate tapestry of events that set the stage for this enduring conflict. We then navigated through the turning point, Crimea and eastern Ukraine, where the struggle for control intensified, resulting in a political and humanitarian crisis that reverberated across the globe. The annexation of Crimea by Russia and the ensuing unrest in the eastern Ukraine marked a pivotal moment in the conflict, escalating it to a level that has yet to de-escalate. From there, we moved to the present, a state of stalemate, where peace seems elusive and uncertainty looms large. Leaked documents hint at the exhaustion of Russian ground forces and the depletion of Ukrainian air defenses. Both sides are preparing for the next phase of war, a testament to the grim reality that the end is not in sight. Yet it's not just a story of two nations. The conflict's global implications are far-reaching, with nations around the world entangled in this geopolitical quagmire. From Germany and France facilitating peace talks to China's concern over the conflict spiraling out of control, it's clear that the ripple effects of this conflict extend far beyond Russia and Ukraine. The Russia-Ukraine conflict, a grim reminder of our times, continues to shape the course of global politics. As we move forward, the hope for peace remains, albeit shrouded in uncertainty.